despite life's challenges. And so, even like today, it was an adoration that would come and go. Now, if you're still with me, with the fruition of opposition and the adoration of the crowds fully in place, everything is ripe for the final occurrence. And this final occurrence in the gospel is the gospel's reach beyond Jerusalem and Judea, beyond Samaria and Galilee, symbolized by the Greeks who have come to see Jesus. This final occurrence is the message of Christ to all of God's people. It is the fulfillment of the Judaic commission to be God's emissaries and to share God's love. It is the completion of God's covenant with Abraham and with Isaac and with Jacob, that they would be a blessing, God's blessing to the whole world. Up to this point in his ministry, only Jews and Palestinian Gentiles had heard this message of Jesus. But now, in this passage comes Greeks who represent the remainder of their known world. These Greeks who from across the sea have come seeking to see Jesus, seeking to hear his words for themselves, seeking the answers that would direct their lives to greater meaning. They come to see Jesus. They come as a remaining fragment of a disassociated world. They come as the last straw of a slowly building episode. They come as the culmination of a beginning that would know no end. They come to see Jesus. Oh, but what is Jesus' response? He does not say, oh, great, bring him on. He doesn't say, wait a minute, let me prepare something special for them. Instead, all he says is the hour has come. This is what he said, because it's about time. Some things can only occur in the fullness of time. Most things should only occur in the fullness of time. What we see in Jesus is the fulfillment of the preacher's edict in Ecclesiastes. To everything there is a season. The time and the hour for Jesus could not be too soon nor too late. To accomplish God's purpose, it could only occur at the right moment in time. Not an hour too soon, nor an hour too late. Having acknowledged that his hour had come, Luke records that his face was set to go to Jerusalem, to go to Calvary, to go to Golgotha, to go to a Roman cross on a hill. So this passage ends with verse 32 and Jesus saying, and if I be lifted up from the earth, I will draw all men unto me. That's what he came for. That was what he was intended for. That was his hour. This was his purpose. This is what he came into the world to do, to draw all of humankind, not just the Jews and the Greeks, but all of humankind, not just the preachers and the teachers, but all of humankind, not just the choir members and the musicians, but all of humankind, not just the stewards and the stewardesses, but all of humankind, not just the bishops and the presiding elders, but all of humankind, not just the youth and young adults, but all of humankind, not just the acolytes and the ushers, but all of humankind, not just the missionaries and the lay people, but all of humankind. You see, it's about time and its fullness. And we all have time. We all have a time. Next week might be someone's time. Last week might have been someone else's time. But today ought to be your time. Today ought to be your Ecclesiastes time. Today ought to be your time to stand up. This ought to be your stand-up time. Today ought to be your decision time. Today ought to be your fullness of time. So whatever today may be for you, it's about time. It's about time to stand up for what's right. It's about time to be instant in season and out of season. It's about time to be about the Father's business. It's about time to let the world see Christ in you. In the fullness of time. In the fullness of time. Jesus took time out to die for you and for me. So isn't it about time for us to take the time to live for him? Yes, my sisters and my brothers, the hour has come. It's come. We can't put it off. We can't stop its coming. But the hour has come. How long do we sit in pews and pretend we don't feel the Spirit? How long do we stand around in corners and afraid to confess what God has done for us? Oh, our witness is so important. If we don't tell the story, the book says the rocks will cry out. I don't need no rock to speak for me. The door of the church is open. And we extend the invitation to God's kingdom. I know it's been already said that everybody here is a member already, but you never know. You never know. You never know what has moved in someone's heart. All the hours you look back at the past. All the hours you hope for the future. But there is an hour of change. An hour that is the fullness of time. Won't you stand? And if there's one here today, we invite you to come. Give me your hand, give God your heart, and today yet it become not only the beginning of a new life, but the recognition of the fullness